Howdy Hokies, Clint Jones here, Assistant Director of Campus Recreation at St. Edward University. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited and enthusiastic about getting to share why I think I would be the best candidate for the Assistant Director of Intramurals at Virginia Tech. Very enthusiastic, very excited, and got a lot of good things to talk about. But before I do that, I want to make sure that I say thank you for allowing me to be in front of you today. I know you guys have very strict and tight schedules, and I know you've had several valid candidates for this position. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to take up a short 10 minutes of your time. So, let's get into it. So the first question Gabby asked us, tell us about yourself. So, like I said, Clint Jones, grew up in small town Texas. Went to Texas A&M in my undergrad, started working for Campus Recreation early on in my first semester there. And now I am, through a couple of steps from A&M to USF grad school, from West Alabama, now in my 6th year as a professional. I would have to say that Campus Recreation is absolutely where I deserve and am excited to be. I have worked very hard to get where I'm at now. I come to you as a first generation college student. None of my family went to college, so that was a very, very hard transition going from high school to college, and earning that degree, and moving along those lines and furthering my career and going on as to get my master's degree as well. I think it was in grad school that I really found out what Campus Recreation meant to me, and is why I decided to go into this as a career. I was fortunate enough to have 3 students after my first year of grad school go into the field as grad assistants themselves, and helping them along the way really helped shape what I thought would be the most important aspect of their careers, because for me at that time that was the most important thing for me as a grad student, and being able to allow them to go fulfill their dreams and now are professionals in the field as well, is really, really, really where it set home for me. So that was just a really, really awesome experience, and I knew that from then on I was going to be in higher education for the rest of my career. Just a few things about me. I am an eternal optimist. There are always roadblocks that get in our way. I'm never one to get down on those roadblocks. I'm very, very excited, to be faced with those types of challenges. From the day we're born, we're all faced with different challenges in our lives, and we all run different paths. And it's in our job to get through them one way or another. And I think the way that I go about it is a very optimistic route. I always am looking at the next step and how we can get there in the most easy and efficient manner, while also making sure that we get the goals accomplished along the way that we set out to achieve. So yeah, the eternal optimist. I come from a family of 4, 3 younger siblings. I'm the oldest of the bunch. The reason I strive so hard to make sure that I do a great job on campus recreation is because I come from a family that is traditionally very overweight, even to some extreme obesity cases. And I know that our health is important and it's valuable, and I want to make sure that I am living the life that is going to be able to maintain throughout my career and throughout my life, so that I'm there for my kids and grandkids when I'm older, and I'm healthy enough to stay up with them and keep up and just be there. So that's why being active and staying healthy is so important to me, because I come from a family that hasn't always had that opportunity. I love to laugh. I love to hang out with friends. I love family time. I've got a 1.5-year-old at home who just brightens my day every chance I get to see him, and another one on the way. So that's going to be very exciting when the other one is here. But I love spending time with my family, my wife, my kid, my dog. We have a blast. We go to the park. We spend as much time outside as possible, and I can't wait for the times when I get home to do that. But while I'm at work, I am also making sure that I stay focused on work and get the job done that I want to, that I so strive to achieve and excel at. So that's a little bit about me. Let's go into the second part of the question. What prompted me to apply for this job? There are a lot of reasons why I decided to apply for this job at Virginia Tech. And I think first and foremost is because this is going to be the next step for me in my career. I'm currently overseeing 4.5 program areas in our department. Some people might think that just going back to intramurals is going to be maybe restrictive of my career. Well, I think of that in the opposite way. I see at a small campus, I oversee 4 programs, which means I'm stretched very thin in those programs, and I'm not able to focus on long-term goals as much as I would like to. I think getting back into an intramural focused world and being able to look at some long-term goals will help me better down the line be able to adhere to the needs of an associate director or director. At the end of my career, I hope that I'm retiring a director from a medium to large-sized institution. That's the end goal. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm very excited about that opportunity to get back in the intramurals. That's also my roots. That's where I found passion in campus recreation and higher education, and getting back to that I think would be very important and very crucial. Also having the supervision piece would be very important to me. Getting to work very closely with my coordinators and grad assistants would be very, very good for my development and moving forward. That's really crucial in thinking about being a director and supervising up to 30 to 40 campus rec staff members. You've got to start somewhere. Along with that, why I chose this area is I was very fortunate last summer to be able to go to the School of Collegiate Recreation up in Grapevine. And I got to know your director, Allie, very well. She was my team leader, and I got to know a couple of the other members of your campus recreation department and speak to them very thoroughly about the position in Virginia Tech in general and all the awesome opportunities that you guys have been given there. And I think that I would really make a great addition to the team at Virginia Tech. I resonate with everything that was told to me there about the tradition of the university, the tradition of campus recreation. The university itself has a lot of pride, and I come from a school at Texas A&M that had a lot of pride and tradition, and I think that's something that I very much value in my collegiate experience, and would be very fortunate to be able to get to share that with other students. I want to talk about how great of a school it is as well. Both academically, the student body is very strong. Like I said, enriched in pride. And I also know that campus recreation family that you have there is very, very much able to cater to young families. I know the director has a young family. A couple other folks on campus have a young family. And I think that's very important to me. As much as I want to get the job done and do the things that are expected and required of us in our job, I also want to make sure that I have time for my family. So balance is a really important part of that to me. And as much of that job aspect as I can share with my family, I think that just makes it that much more of an awesome and valuable position. So why I want to go into the assistant director specifically, I talked about it, back to my roots, supervision. I'm able to talk about the big picture, and I know that the program itself is, it's bursting at the seams pretty much. You don't have to try very hard to get people into your space. You just have to have enough space for all of the people that you have there on campus. I think with my diverse experiences at small colleges and big cities and big colleges, I think I would bring a very unique perspective to the table that could potentially help us come up with new ideas or ways to better use our spaces, that are limited based on the number of students in our student body at Virginia Tech. I also think it's really cool that almost everybody on your department gets the opportunity to serve in various leadership roles, and get to be a part of the bigger picture and working with that staff to develop new programs and new ideas and new ways that Campus Rec can be a better proponent of wellness on campus and within the community. So yeah, well, all of those are reasons that I value and think this would be a very, very good fit for me. So let's go on to number 3, my leadership style. I absolutely identify as a servant leader. So if you guys have ever read the books by Skip Pritchard, he talks about the 9 qualities of being a servant leader. I'm not going to go into all 9 of those, but I think all of them are very important, and I recommend you go in and read that book if you get an opportunity to. But what I want to talk about are 4 that really resonate with me the most, and that is cultivating trust on a team, developing others by letting them lead, encouraging, and then selling instead of telling. So let's talk about cultivating trust on the team. I think the way you earn trust is getting down in the trenches with your employees. Letting them know that I am no better than you just because my title might be a little bit above yours. I think it's important for everyone to be able to do every job as a team, and that is very valuable and very important. Building trust. I let others, as often as I can, I let others take the lead. I want them to learn and grow and take opportunities to get responsibility. I also think by giving them that responsibility, they are better sold on what our goal is and the outcome of that total product. So it lets them be engaged and involved and know that their ideas are being heard. Developing others by letting them lead is just that. The more you lead, the more opportunities you have to get in front of people, take on responsibilities, the better you're going to be when you leave that place. Because we learn, I learn the best from failure, and sometimes I even allow my current students and other folks that I've supervised in the past, I may full well know that a program or an idea is going to fail, but I kind of let that happen, as long as it's not going to affect our total outcome, because I believe we learn best from failure. And if we're not giving them the opportunity to lead and take charge, we're not giving them the opportunity to fail and learn from that failure and get better the next time. That's why that one resonated so much with me. Encourages. I talked about being an eternal optimist all the time. I'm very optimistic about, getting the job done, getting whatever it is that we need to get done. And when things get down or when somebody fails, I'm not going to be the one to come in and chew on somebody for that. I'm going to be the one to come in and say, all right, why did it fail? Let's talk about all of these things, and how can we move on from there? How can we get better? What can we learn from this failure? And then I'm going to encourage them to go out and make a difference and make the changes and get better so that we can be better as a team moving forward. And selling instead of telling. There are certain things that we don't get to let them lead on their own. There are certain things that I have to lead in my position. And I definitely do not believe in just assigning tasks for no reason. I very much believe that if we are all on a team, there are ways that we can achieve those goals by selling the product, selling whatever it is that we need to push out to our participants or to the university. So I can sell that to them instead of telling them what to do. I can make that be a piece of the experience, and so that they are hopefully more engaged and more involved in that process. So selling instead of telling. I think a great idea that I can bring to campus, so going to number 4. I've got a lot of experience planning different types of adventure races. So in Boston, I did an internship where we created a race throughout the entire greater Boston area. It's called the Great Urban Race, or the Great Boston Race. And what that did is it took the Amazing Race concept and put it just in that Boston area. I also got to bring that idea down to Tampa during grad school, and we did one on the campus of USF. From there, at West Alabama, I transitioned that adventure race model into one more of a Tough Mudder Warrior Dash type race. I think, depending on the climate at Virginia Tech and what we think might be the most relevant and needed, I think would determine whether or not we went with the adventure type race or the Warrior Dash Tough Mudder type race. So I think that would just be a really cool opportunity to take advantage of the local community and do something